Isaac, welcome to the Off Frequency podcast.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
I feel blessed, I'm grateful for you coming on. You know, you've come a long way today. Amazing story, and it's one of those difficult ones where do you start? So I think we've got to go back to the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. How about beginning, like birth?
yeah, before birth.
I don't remember that bit, yeah. Yeah, before, yeah.
Before consciousness, yes.
I was born in Red Hill, which is like Croydon. So I lived in Croydon till I can't remember what age. Well, how old are you in year 3? I'm sure I was in year 3.
What is that? Yeah, I forgot now.
8?
Yeah, something like
8?
that.
9? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we moved. My old man got a job in Luton as a lecturer at the university, and he was travelling. So in the end, we ended up moving to Luton. So that brought me to Luton, which in many ways, to be fair, is very similar to Croydon, apart from the fact it's not inside London. Hated school, did athletics, so I liked my sport and stuff. Never good at the team sports. Actually, I was alright at rugby, but not football. And quite quickly got bored of my surroundings, essentially, which led me down other paths.
Indeed, yeah, which I'm sort of looking forward to coming on to for sure. Do you think, when you look back at where you were born and the environment of which, so, you know, Luton is on the map now, big styly, because of a few figures that you're familiar with and everyone is.
Yeah.
But would you say it's changed much, or is it, you know, when they say it's the worst town in the UK, is it that bad?
It's bad, yeah, in my opinion at least. Whether it's the worst town in the UK, I mean, by what metric are we judging that by?
Right.
I mean, there are metrics to judge it by, of course. You know, economic measures. They measure happiness these days and stuff like that. I don't know. There's all sorts.
How do they do that?
I don't know.
It's like, tick a box for.
Yeah.
Did you wake up
Big
smiling today?
I just don't think you'd get enough people answering the questionnaire in Luton because people just wouldn't be bothered. But
yeah,
I don't know. I to be fair, when I get asked that question in general, I always go, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But,
it's natural.
But that's obviously a casual conversation. So. In a situation like this, I'd prefer to be a lot more balanced. But it's definitely bad, and I think what it does is represents a lot of other towns and cities across the UK as well. I think that's the thing to understand, is that whether it's the worst or not, it's up there.
Yeah.
But what it does do is, if you think of it in the sense that all the towns and cities that are similar to that are going through similar things. And they will obviously differ slightly by demographic and
unique issues.
Yeah, but as a broad stroke, I think it definitely tells a tale. I mean, I haven't lived there since I was 17. Probably.
Okay.
I think maybe I lived there for 6 months when I left the military. So I guess maybe also, I don't know how the best judge I am, and I'm also biased because I hated growing up there, essentially. But then I'm also weirdly proud of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, look how far you've come from there. Maybe.
Well, I think it's just like, I'd rather that than be some posh sod.
See.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I've met a few. And obviously you have now as well. I'm sure you have. Yeah, and it does. You're not. I think you notice with those people, they're just not exactly that rounded.
No.
Unless you've come from, and mine wasn't too bad. It was Nottingham. Is it a council estate? I don't know. It wasn't too good.
Nottingham's bad.
But
it's not. Used to call it Shottingham, mate. You know what
I mean? Did they?
Yeah, I used to have really bad gun crime problems in the 2000s, I think.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
But what about family dynamic? Yeah.
I mean, great, really. I think both my parents come from very humble beginnings. in different ways though. Like both of them definitely don't come from any kind of money whatsoever and come from single parent households. But because my dad's Danish, it kind of differs a bit. I think like he kind of had this like single parent rural upbringing. Do you know what I mean? But then there are some similarities in the sense where like he's also half Egyptian, and this is a country where almost everybody's exclusively blonde and blue eyes. But at the same time, I don't think, and this is again, take it with a pinch of salt, but I don't think the racism was an issue in the same way it was growing up in Bradford in the 60s and 70s as my mum did. Yeah. So I think maybe that's something they saw in common with each other. But I think he understood without having experienced this, like it experienced it in such an extreme way as maybe my mum would have done. Do you know what I mean? So that but obviously Scandinavia in general is another Northern European country, so we share a lot of cultural things, but at the same time it's also very different. Do you know what I mean? So but yeah, he obviously ended up moving here after he met my old dear and stuff, and they were together until I was around, I think it was when I was like 16. So yeah, so I like for the best part of my formative years, I was in a loving two-parent household. Both of them were tough parents in their own separate ways, kind of thing.
Because their background, and also just I imagine, the Danish probably be quite straight.
Yeah, exactly. But then
Viking stuff.
Yeah, exactly that. And like he served in the Danish army. I mean, almost everybody does because it's a conscription. So not almost everybody, but it's quite normal because they have national service. Although he did stay on past his sort of minimum requirement. So he always had that backing it up as well. But it's funny because they cared about different things. So between them, they made the whole pie, if that makes sense, right? Like my dad wasn't too bothered about certain things, but she was. So I just, you know what I mean? It was, my mum was, sorry. So that was what was interesting, kind of thing. So they're both strict in their own kind of ways. But
you were pretty, you were, like you said, you were settled in the sense of that, you were stable up until 16. There was no major events that shaped you, like moments. Because, obviously, again, coming up, I think, reading your amazing article, like, there's things you see growing up in Luton that become normal to you, which aren't normal in many 70% of the country, like in terms of what happens in schools. And
I definitely think, like, I do sometimes think that I'm glad, A, my parents are who they are, and two, that they were together for the vast majority of my childhood, because I feel like I could really understand where young lads in single parent households go wrong, especially single parents households where it's with the mother, because like I had a lot of anger and rage, and I was definitely susceptible to, less so than maybe my peers, but that's probably because of my home situation, but susceptible to peer pressures and that kind of thing. So like I sometimes, and I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but like, if I didn't have that, I'd be like dead or in jail, like that whole line.
Yeah, the cliche.
You never know. It may have been the same, but I do often think like, there was that point where I did that, and then I got reprimanded for it, and that saved me from this. But then at the same time, they still managed to give me a lot of freedom as well, and allow me to make my own mistakes. Now, I don't know if that was like genius or whether it was just that, because they were both really busy. Like my dad has been, so both my parents studied in my living memory. Were at university in my living memory. So they were very busy people. You know what I mean? Like my dad he's a clinical psychologist, and when he came to this country, had like 0 qualifications and just decided he was going to go to university, even though he's Danish, but his German was better than his English. And then he studied sports science, and when he finished that, he realised, and he did that as a lecturer for a bit, and then was actually, I want to be a psychologist. So then I had to do like all the degrees that came in. Do you know what I mean? So I could always remember him studying and stuff. And then once we moved to Luton, my mum also then studied psychology. And then obviously they were all working in and around this time. So they were very, very busy, right? So, and they worked hard.
But you're seeing that, and that's the thing,
Yeah.
like with kids, my mum and dad split up when I was 5, my brother would have been 10. So that was kind of like, a bit tricky for a period.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't see that suddenly it's all broken up. And this is what happened, like loads of, what is it, 56%? I think it's dropping actually, which is a good sign of a divorce.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is just dropping
That's
a little bit.
Wonder what that,
maybe because it's, people are thinking it's too expensive.
Yeah. Do you know, because I was kind of thinking that on the way up here when I was thinking about like my parents and stuff, and like I think that would have been so difficult. Like hats off to them, but like that would have been so difficult for them to do that now. Like imagine, because obviously then they also got into the property ladder at some point as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was after they had both studied, but still. They were paying rent with like, because I got a younger brother. He's only 3 years younger than me. So they got 2 kids in the household. Imagine all that guy. Imagine doing that now, where you're studying and working and you've got 2 kids. Like, I just don't think the economy would be able to hold you up. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not an economist, but it just feels like, things are a little bit tougher in that sense. But at the same time, it doesn't take away from anything. Now, I mean, the 90s were different, weren't they? Like you could kind of make your way. The dream was kind of still alive, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. No, you're right. I think
not that I'm saying from like, I mean, like, yes, I was alive in the 90s, but I definitely weren't making economic decisions. You know what I mean?
No.
I was just watching Transformers or whatever it was.
Right, yeah, Scooby Doo.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I guess seeing them, studying, super busy, maybe did they have the time to? I don't know. So let's say through school, did you kind of get a sense of what you wanted to do growing up? Did you start to get pulled in certain directions, and did they help you with that?
Yeah,
because of their background.
Yeah, I think so. Like it's weird because like even though they were super busy, I don't have any memory of them not having time for us, which is interesting. Or maybe I was just too busy myself. But
yeah.
I don't know. My biggest problem as a child, I think, was that I never knew what I wanted to do. But I honestly think that for the most part, most people don't. And when they say they do because they want to be a firefighter and an astronaut, it's just a lie anyway. It's just they say to shut your parents up. Or it's a cute thing to say when the parents' mates are around or whatever. But I never really knew. I remember just copying people, whether it's like football. Like, man, I wasn't even that interested in football at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Or like, I think at one point I wanted to be like a rapper or something ridiculous like that. Or like be in music in general. And I think, again, I think it was just like what I saw around me because I generally didn't know. And it was just like things that I liked because I liked them because everybody... It's not that I wasn't into it or couldn't imagine me doing it. I just think I was picking things where I had some sort of like outlet. Like football has an outlet, right? Music has an outlet. So I was obviously just picking things that fitted that I needed to say or do something. Sounds like I want to be the centre of attention, to be fair, but
I think a lot of young lads do, don't you? You know, when you get to that, you're thinking about as girls, aren't you? When you come to secondary school or whatever, it's like, girls going out, playing a lot of mischief, isn't it?
Yeah, but I didn't know. I generally didn't know.
No idea.
Like I said stuff, but I mean, so I was I think from the age of 13, maybe younger. Maybe 12 actually. So my dad joined the local athletics club, which was Luton Athletics Club, and he was a thrower, so he did like discus and hammer and stuff. Because he's always done sports in some capacity. Like,
nice.
He was a good runner when he was younger. Obviously, he was in the army, so then that kept him physical. What other sports did he play? He's just always done something. He's always done something. Yeah, he's always done something. And I think he'd maybe done some athletics in school. So anyway, he started doing that. And then he kind of just like pushed all of us to do it. So we all ended up training and competing for the club.
That's what you want, though.
All of us, yeah. My younger brother, he dabbled a bit, but in the end, he ended up being a rugby player. But then for me, myself, well, my dad, my mum, and myself, we trained and competed. You know what I mean? My dad was a thrower though. My mum did sprinting like I did. She was rapid, mate.
Really?
Yeah. Bear in mind, she would have been like, how old would she have been? Probably older than I am. Yeah, definitely older than I am now. Yeah, she would have been like older than I am now, and she was like beating like 20-year-olds in it. mental, mate.
That is super. But that must have been awesome seeing your ma like
Mate, honestly, yeah.
absolutely nail.
Like, just, yeah, it was funny, yeah.
So they were both. It's quite in. So I'm picking up. It's probably quite intense household though, or a level of like getting things done, and which is like achieving shit. Like pretty driven, weren't they? Both, and then that energy is like you're gonna see that, and that's we might not listen much. I think coming up.
But you see,
but you will see, and you'll take note and start to go, what are they doing? How their action, the behaviour?
Yeah, definitely. Like, they're absolute characters. So yeah, I mean,
you got sprinting, and you were good. Did you realise I'm good at this?
No, I don't know if I think my talent is my body can adapt to things rather quickly. Because it wasn't like I did athletics and I was just like automatically first free.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But then. But then also I'm an August baby, so then there's also maturity, like physical maturity, I think maybe played a part as well. But I wasn't necessarily that good. But then after a few years, like literally a couple of years, I was winning races. Now, this sounds crazy to say, but I stopped at about 16. But there were guys that I knew and had competed against. One of them was in my own county, and they were running sub 11s as a under 16 teenager, like sub 1100 meters. They're talking like 10.8s, 10.7s, 10.6s. It's, do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous, right? So
that level.
So I think my best time at like a school event was like 11 dead, but like recorded was like 11.2, and that matters because you have to be electronically recorded was like 11.2. That matters because that all differs.
Right. Okay.
Because one, if you're not trained. Then it's not really a proper time. And then you have trained hand timers, and then you can actually count that as a record, and then you get electronic, which is even more accurate. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I make that distinction. So
which you wouldn't know unless you're in that game. You think, just they click a thing, but actually no. Then it's
because on TV it's always electronic because obviously it's at that level, and it's like it's proper accurate. But by luck, because one, Bedfordshire is a small county, and two. The fastest, because I was the second fastest guy in the county when I was like 15, and the first was in like the top, I don't know, 10 or 20 in the country. Do you know?
Oh wow, okay.
So it sounds great,
yeah.
But then countrywide, there's a lot of people ahead of me. But then also about 100 people have the same time, because it's like 11.2 what? Like you might beat him but have the same time. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Because electronic time will show the difference because it will be. 11.2 3 or 11.2 3 4 like do you know, 2 3 4 doesn't make sense, but yeah, so yeah, but I think that was great for me because I am competitive. I learned discipline through that. I learned pain because it was suffering, like it's like especially winter training is horrific.
What did that look like? Your training?
I think I trained initially like once or twice a week, and then when I started actually like winning stuff, like I could win or come second in most. Like, because it's a league, it's weird. It's like a league.
Okay, yeah.
In most like weekend events, but when I did like nationals and stuff like that, man, I came dead last. Like obviously, because like everyone was running sub 11s and stuff. I just entered them for like you enter them for the experience. Like it's like it's like what it would be like a proper competition if you was like if you'd gone all the way. Like your name gets called out. There's free Red Bull everywhere. Like it's like taken quite seriously. So it's good to just, there's like, you have to be dead quiet. There's no lark. Do you know what I mean? It was quite, and I loved it, especially when I started winning and stuff, and like, it kept me in shape. I learned how to, it kept me, I wasn't always running around with my mates because I had commitments, and so I learned a bit of, and I'm still not great at it, but at least I'd be worse if I hadn't had that. Do you know what I mean?
That discipline and that competitive edge.
But then when I left school, I got invited onto the Athletics Academy, which was this, like, at the time, quite a new scheme. Oakland's College and St Albans. They had three. There was a football one, which was St Albans, and then the girls was Arsenal, to be fair. And then there was us, who was the Athletics Academy. And it was basically just a sports course. But then you was also in an academy where you had to turn up and train and blah blah blah. And I think I just got invited on it because it was like local. I knew some of the coaches. My parents knew some of the coaches. They knew who I was.
So you know a bit.
I think on a national level, I probably wouldn't have, because there was some like really fast people there, and it wasn't just sprinters. There was throwers, my mate at the time, Jordan, who ended up being like a world karate champion, he was on that as well.
Wow.
He was on the same course as me. So it was just athletes in general. But I don't know, I just fell out of love with it. And I don't know whether I fell out of love with the sport itself or I fell out of love with like education or I just needed a change of scenery. But I was like, I also knew as well, like this isn't football, right? If you want to be a footballer, right, and you aim for the Premier League and you miss the Premier League, you end up in League One. You miss League One, you end up in League Two. You miss League Two, you end up in so on and so forth. Anyway, that you've got like 5 opportunities at pro level.
Decent money
to earn money and decent money, so make a living and blah blah blah. And then you can even get paid decent semi-pro these days, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
that's not athletics; it's an amateur sport. You literally have to be
top.
The top 3 in your country to get a sponsorship. I'm probably adding like taking what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, but and then to actually earn a living, you've got to be Usain Bolt. So I was just thinking, mate, you know what? Like, you know what I mean? Like even rugby would have been a better choice. You know what I'm saying? Like.
But it served you for that time.
Yeah, I don't regret it at all. Yeah. But I just
it was your thing. But you knew it. So how old were you then when you come out of the sprinting? Were you like, was that 16?
16,
Yeah. Then what happens? Because you're looking, okay, so you're not sprinting.
Well, I kind of stopped sprinting because I decided I was going to join the Royal Marines. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So how did you get to, and again, your dad's had an influence on you there with the military side. Yeah. But was that it? Or was it no more of you thinking, I don't know.
Like what was the pull? I was getting like a lot of what I was getting in Luton. It was basically like the whole sort of like street bravado and stuff, which was like very, what's the word? It was there anyway like naturally in Luton, obviously. And I think and getting away from that was nice, but then I just ended up walking into it at college because the football team was all like lads from North London. So I mean, so then you walk in, it's just basically like if you're like dressed a certain way or you're someone in your family's black, so you look like they're just like staring at you, right? That's how it was, right? And then I'm not interested in that, but I'm also not gonna back down. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, what? And then I'm having arguments with geezers on my own in the college. Now, it didn't bother me because I was like worried. It bothered me because I got to the point where I was like, this is actually stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not interested.
Why eye me out?
Like, do you know, I'm not interested. But at the same time, I'm gonna have an argument with you. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't help myself, right? So
would you have done it differently now? You're a bit older, and you said, would you have?
No.
Or
it doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen to me now. No. I mean, I'm on probation now, so I'd have to walk away from any. Anything wrong.
Yeah, how long's that? Oh, I'll come on to that. Yeah.
But yeah, even like afterwards, it doesn't really happen to me much. And if it did, I always found a way to diffuse it somehow. But
did you? Sorry, just on that quickly on that note, did you find yourself like in school in Luton? Because you see, like drawn to, you had your own sort of your mates and your circle. Was it a mix of ethnicities, or was it? Were you really drawn to stay like a bit like what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
because it's quite a multicultural area.
So I personally was friends with everybody, and for the most part, like my year group were like were friendly to each other, knew each other's name, and whatever. But generally, no. Like my social group was just like all black kids. Basically, or people who enjoyed Afrocentric culture.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't like, oh, we don't talk to the white kids and nothing. Like I still knew who they were. Sometimes I'd end up out with them or I'd bump into them and like, do you know what I mean? But generally, it was their world and our world, right? Because I think at the time where it's different now, but where my school was placed, like if you turned left, it was quite middle class. If you turned right, it wasn't. So you had that mix now, which I don't think you have anymore. And yeah, like it was fine. But so our world was connected with the rest of the Afrocentric. I've used it now.
Use that now. Yeah, you got to stick to
that. Culture within Luton, right?
Yeah.
So whatever school that was, they'd end up at the same parties, blah, blah, blah. And then they were being indie kids and shit. You know what I mean?
But it is a natural thing because no matter what the race thing, I find it. And like now, yes, we judge straight away.
Yeah.
And we think, oh, okay, I think I was fortunate to have quite a mixed culture in my family. I've said to you, from South America.
Yeah.
And so as I was growing up, although most of my friends were white in Nottingham, sort of when we go to family get-togethers, there'd be like a big mix of different people. I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's normal that everyone gets along and there's no judgment and stuff. But I think the reason race exists, because none of us grow up, you don't come into this world and go, I don't like you because you're black, you're brown, you're
Kinda
this shade,
learned,
whatever shade.
Culture, yeah.
So it's a learned behaviour, isn't it, from somewhere that...
I think so. I mean, tribalism is innate.
Yeah,
But
right.
the way you practice it, though, is learned, yeah.
Yeah, because our mannerisms and the way we talk and our lingo,
Yeah.
is very different, right? You know,
Yeah.
and you notice it, I'm sure, with your family. And that it must have been quite unique for you as well. Did you go see your dad's side of the family? Did they come together, your get-togethers? Was it quite...
Well, I think, so, firstly, on that, I think it's the times that, I'll answer that question in a minute, but I think on that, just for a comment on that, is, I think it's different now. I think, and again, I might just be like a geezer that's getting on a bit, who's trying to comment on like what the kids are doing these days, but I think it's different now. I think there's much more of a blanket culture that connects everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, those said white mates would make a joke in line with what's happening in my bread bin instead of bedroom, right? And no one would take offense to it, would just laugh at it, right? But that's something that they would do because there was still some sort of cultural difference, yeah?
Yes.
Whereas now that doesn't happen. Basically, everybody talks like that in some capacity. It's basically just like Instagram language. And it's very much... That's
an interesting one.
Yeah, it's very much... Well, globally, it's American Ebonics that influences it mostly. But in this country as well, sort of like British Afro-Caribbean, MLE sort of language is like seeping into just as a general... Like saying bear is just like standard. And if you think about it now, you know, there's 40-year-olds still doing that because, like, think about it, when you was a kid, did you imagine 40-year-olds saying bear?
No.
But they do now because 40-year-olds were saying bear when they were younger because they're in our sort of age group. Do you get what I mean? And you think about it, you're like, that's actually mad, isn't it? So in a couple of years' time, there's going to be some old geezer, old codger, mate, and he's be like, mate, when I was young, I used to get bear girls, mate. And you'd be looking at it thinking, steady on, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's interesting, but with the family aspect of it, like my dad has a very small family. He doesn't know his old man, who is or was, no idea what state he's in.
Okay,
is Egyptian. My grandma on his side, who I call Farmore, doesn't speak English. So like the Danish experience, let's call it.
Yeah.
I could sell that.
Yeah.
The Danish experience is almost completely through him.
I wondered if that was my I wondered how what it would have been like if you brought all the families together. It would have been quite fast because I was just comparing it to my own. Like, quite fascinating because you're seeing all these like weird dynamics in there.
But the last time I was in Denmark, I was so young, I cried because a frog jumped in my sandal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
If I saw someone crying over that now, I wouldn't let them live it. Like,
well, you've seen a few more things since then.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and
I remember it because she lived on a farm at the time, which me and my brother thought was absolutely fantastic. There was rabbits, there was cats, there was horses, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was summer, it was fantastic. Like the islands in Denmark are beautiful. Do you know what I mean? So, but other than those memories, the culture, like the Scandinavian culture, is almost completely through him, and obviously he's now lived here a very long time. So I don't know how much. I sometimes think that a lot of I often debate how much of it is actually seeped through, and I sometimes think that I clash with a lot of my friends in school, not to the point where it was like, well, sometimes, but like, and sometimes I think it was like a cultural thing because obviously as a man, your dad is a very important factor in what shapes you. Your mum is as well in a different way,
that
right?
Male energy though.
You kind of mimic your old man. Your mum is just as important in what shapes you, but you don't mimic your mum necessarily. How she treats you shapes how you react to the world, but you almost mimic your dad, right? And sometimes I think like some of the things that made me rub shoulders with some of my or come up against some of my mates was because of these cultural differences. There's this thing sometimes I just don't understand. There's like ignorances within Afro-Caribbean culture, which and British culture, which I just didn't get. Whereas like in Denmark, it's kind of just like, well, this is it.
Right.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So sometimes I think that plays a part, or I'm just weird. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But
oh yeah, we're all a bit weird.
but almost apart from my dad, my entire family is just black. You know what I mean? They only
I wondered how much influence you had from that, literally deep in the realms of Denmark.
Yeah, but it's an interesting question because I often think that because like everyone in my family's black that I'm in constant contact with, apart from me and my brother who are mixed race, still black of course, but mixed race. Everyone else is black.
Yeah,
and then there's my dad, and and then he was there and amongst it obviously. So, but then because he's your dad, even though I don't have the peripherals of like his family's so small and whatever, he's your dad, right? So that influence is massive. Do you know what I mean? But
No, it's cool. So, it's always fascinating, I think, to think how we arrive where we are based on those early years and just all the things we're taking in. And sounds like it would have been interesting if you got into that. I think that was my big curiosity. There was like I wondered what their family get together was like with such differences. But
but it was just him, and because it was just him.
So that was a hell of a job for him.
Like, he was just chilling.
Yeah, credit to him. He was just shut my mouth to stay still.
Just chilling. Yeah, but then I think he just dealt with it in a Scandinavian way.
Just get on. My mate goes out there and sells. He does like advertising. They create music and Lego's one of their clients, and he goes to Helsinki a lot of the time and all over there. And he's like, the humor and the mannerisms, the sales process, and just the straight takes some doing.
Yeah.
He said
it's
but that's
it's great.
everywhere.
I love it. I love. I think I
you know where you are with them.
Yeah, exactly. I want to kind of lean into the culture a bit more because like my experience growing up was just like it was just Afro-Caribbean, which is great. I love it. Very proud of it. Whatever else, but
you're in a position now to be able to do so. But if we go back to like now in the Marines, you've made that decision because again, you probably before that you still didn't really know what you wanted to do. Well, then suddenly, how did the Marines come into your head basically?
So by this point, my parents had split up, and I was visiting my dad, and I was just like, I've had enough, mate. You know what I mean? He's like, well, what's up? I was like, I just don't really care for the athletics anymore. I don't really care for education. I don't want to. I'm sick of Luton. Like I've got no beef with my friends. Like I haven't been properly friends with them for donkeys now. But if I bumped into them, they've always got respect for me and all that kind of stuff. But I just really wasn't. I don't know. The sort of Afro-Caribbean working class masculine culture got boring. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then for some people around me, it was getting dangerous for as well. And I'm not risk averse, but for what? There's always a for what for me. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And my reputation on the streets of Luton just wasn't enough for me. Not that I had one, but I'm just saying like it just wasn't. I was just like, this is like I actually want more of a what's the word? I want something more to risk for. Like do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there wasn't a big enough game for you.
I don't. Yeah. What's the word? There's a specific word and I've forgotten it, and this happens to me all the time. Anyway,
join the club. Yeah.
Mate, it kills
all
me.
the time. It's so
annoying. So I was just like, and again, that's not me saying bad about any of the people I was hanging around at the time. And it's not like a judgment thing. It was just like, it was innate, it was within me. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And also, I'm kind of all in kind of person as well. And it was like, if I'm gonna be running, like get in a bat and like, having arguments with these people and all this, like I'm either all in or all out. And if I'm all in, I don't want to lose, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's not saying that I would have won or that I would have even made that decision. But it just played a part in my thinking. Like, I don't know, mate. I just, you know what I mean? Anyway, so he was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" Like, it was being very,
dads do, what do you want to do?
And I was like, "Don't know." But I can't remember I'm paraphrasing massively, but it was like
there's loads of stuff in between. But something,
And I was like, I don't know. Like, to be honest, what's weird is I think I knew what I was getting at. And I think he knew what I was getting at. Do you get what I mean?
Yes,
'Cause
undercurrent of.
when I spent a lot of time on my computer, MSN, the whole thing. But I also spent a lot of time just like, you know how everyone's obsessed with conspiracy theories now? Do you know why I'm not? Because I was doing that at like 12, 13, 14, 15. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
This whole like 9/11 thing, mate, boring. Been there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people were coming up to me talking about that. I'm thinking, mate, like,
Okay.
I was doing this at 14, bruv. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're interested in the world, the whole conspiracy theory thing comes in. It's supposed to come in early.
Yes.
But for people, they're like discovering it now because they never had a computer. Not because they were poor, but they just didn't want a computer, or they
didn't want to know.
And yeah, they didn't care
Ignorance.
because I would have been the nerd, right? Because I
Yeah.
was like, in the popular crowd, but I was kind of nerdy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get called a nerd, but everyone knew I was a bit of a nerd. But it was
Yeah.
alright. Do you know what
That's
I'm
a
saying?
bit like me. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it was like, but now because they're adults, it's okay to be a nerd. So now they're looking into it. And they're like, oh, what do you think? I'm like, mate, remember that documentary? There was a documentary, right?
I do. I know which one you're about. And you're just like,
A Mortal Technique.
yeah.
The rapper, and he was always on about this kind of, do you know what I mean? So it was just like, I'm bored. Anyway, but I used to like talk about this stuff with my dad. He just allows me to have whatever opinions I have, but he push back in a constructive way. And I think I started talking about the military and asking him loads of questions. And one day he went, oh, but like with all the stuff you like, you know, the stuff that you're into and stuff, like that kind of, doesn't that kind of, you know, isn't there a bit of friction with that in the military kind of thing? And I can't remember what my answer was, but I think I gave an answer that made him obviously think, oh, maybe he's interested in it. And I think he remembered that, because then fast forward to this conversation, I think he knew what I was getting at. And I think I knew what I was getting at. Because then he was like, well, have you thought about the military? And I immediately went, yes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
it was
that's
weird.
what you both know all
Yeah,
along.
but I think we knew anyway.
Leading there.
But it was just kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
It's roundabout way. You get there, yeah.
But I think one reason is it's a big decision to make for me personally, but also for him. I think as a dad, he didn't want to push me towards it.
Right.
Some people do that, and that's fine. But at the same time, I think in his heart of hearts, he just didn't want to. I don't know, maybe.
Especially a decision like that.
Yeah, I think maybe he was like, I don't want to push him towards it. If he wants to do it, then I'll jump on it. If not, then think. And I'm making a decision for him here.
Yeah.
You may watch this and go, what are you on about? But that's
how it felt.
That's how I remember it, or how it felt, right? And then I was like, yeah. And then that was it. It's like, well. And then that was it. Then he was like, well, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it properly. You're going to have to figure out what you want to do and what service. You're going to have to research it properly. And then you're going to have to realize that, you know, this can happen and that can happen. Obviously, for the best part of my adolescent life, this country had been at war. So, like, effectively, if I joined up realistically, as far as we knew, I was going to war. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And then I just became obsessed, mate. Like, I was reading everything, watching everything, YouTube and everything, buying books, training, whatever. Doing athletics definitely helped, because I was the shock of pain, physical pain through training wasn't as big a shock to me. That didn't necessarily make it any easier than anyone else.
I was going to say, I want to hear about this experience then, because you already, like, from what was, you're a well-built guy, you're in athletics, so the fitness side, you're looking at it going, that's going to be you're probably thinking,
I was worried about it, because
you were worried,
because a lot of it's long distance stuff, isn't it? I'm a sprinter. I don't even breathe when I run. I hold my breath for 50 meters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
valid
so I
point.
was like, oh, don't get me wrong, there are parts of military and especially Royal Marines training where that is useful.
Okay. But like 5%.
Well,
it's obviously more than that.
It is probably a smaller part. The bottom field, which I'll go into, which is the assault course at Lympstone, there's a lot of sprinting and they do pace to be a winner. And I was like, this is my bag now, baby. Do you know what I mean? And I'd win, and then I get to sit down. But
they get you on the other. They're like, right,
we're gonna get it.
That's the problem. I bet you're like.
But it was just like I was focused on the commando test, which is like the final test is a 30-miler. I'm looking at thinking, that's more than a marathon. I'm gonna do that. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, I researched everything. I applied for all 3 services, but I always knew it was gonna be the Royal Marines for whatever reason. And yeah, I trained. My careers office, the Marine Corporal at that careers office, didn't allow you to go on your potential Royal Marines course, as it was called then, where you go down for like a week and you have to pass it in order to be invited on basic training.
Right.
He wouldn't let you go on that unless he deemed you fit enough. It was like his like personal pride thing. Like, I don't know, mate, I think he had like a tally chart of how many he got through into training or something, because he used to beast us around Luton, which would have been crazy. Like, because there's nothing military about Luton at all, really. So it was like just us running around like, it was great. Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, so I ended up joining, and then I started basic training essentially. Yeah.
And how did you find that? Because I think everyone's got a lot of young lads, especially growing up. Call of Duty, right?
Right, yeah. I used to be so good at that, by the way, before I joined that.
Gold weapons, MP5.
I was naughty, mate.
It was dangerous for a bit. That took over some hours.
It
was just like...
My dad as well, he loved it.
Really?
Yeah, mate. I used to come home from like a night out, and because the Xbox was in my room, right? I'd come in, I'm like half cut, and I open the door, and he's like, all I can see is like the light of the tea lamp in his face, and he's like, you right, son? I'm like, yeah. He's like,
can I go back?
He's like, don't worry, I won't be too long. I went, don't worry about it. You just crack on. I go to bed, and he carried on, mate. He just like played through.
He's like, man, I'm on a 20 kill streak. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
Go on, airstrike coming.
Yeah, we started as a family on Call of Duty 3, mate, and it's just come right. Yeah, it's come right through. Yeah.
And I think like that for me, but I think that's changed again now. Like people looking at the military versus back when you were looking. I think that's probably changed a lot as well. At people's their perception of it.
Yeah, I think we have war fatigue.
Yeah,
as a culture, I think we have in the West as well, in general, and Britain.
Because you see the film, because you see these, because you see the films, Saving Private Ryan, and go on and on. What's the one I like? The recent one, Horse. What was he called? This guy.
Warfare. That one.
Yeah, a new film. Oh, it's really good. But we sort of see these films. And you're like, oh, mate, his brother is in arms, and fighting. You're like, and obviously the reality is just brutal.
Yeah, I think the whole someone posted on Instagram the other day. Someone I served with actually, and it was like a post talking about why men, not just military men, fantasize about those moments you see in war films. And the argument they were making that it's an innate thing within men that harks back to before things were comfy, and been able to put everything on this one thing and be seen as that protector is like something some men at least is something they fantasize about, whether they're military or not, which is why people join the military, which is interesting. It's something I'd have to research more and stuff, but I kind of get what they're getting at, because I felt that too as well. Like I wanted to put it all on black, even though even I also didn't want to die. But that's the point. You have to not want to die, because if you did want to die,
you'd be dangerous, wouldn't you?
Well, if you didn't want to die, then it wouldn't have the same jeopardy, would it? It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
And then you also have to something to protect, whether it's and that can be scaled up and down, right? That could be immediate family, it could be wider family, it could be a state, town, city, country, whatever. And obviously in the military, it's dialed all the way up.
Yeah,
it's only going to be world when the aliens come, right? Like,
right. Well, yeah, I think they're already here. Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? So, I think that speaks to a lot of men, and that's not just a military thing. Like when men talk about being protectors in general and stuff, I think that's something. I don't know. I guess there'll probably be a lot of people that would hear this and you're not about me, but I think it's something to explore at least.
Yeah, and it sounds also ridiculous. Yeah, comparing it to Call of Duty. No, but some people have the natural call up. But I think your preconceived notion before you got into it and started doing the training, because you already were, so the athletics have trained you up.
Yeah.
But then did it shock you once you're in there, like actually what it takes? Because we all think, oh yeah, when you're with our mates after a few beers, fucking hell, I beast that. You think, oh god, I want to go in there and I.
Yeah. But it's the same. It's the same as when you watch a boxing match or MMA.
Everyone suddenly becomes a.
Everyone's a bloody expert. 2, everyone's like, do you know, if I trained, like, if I started young, I'd be sick, I would. Mate, I've done it. I've said it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
believe it.
I have. Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But
one punch, but
But like, what people do not understand is how hard things are. And this isn't just physical things. Like, I think sometimes with education, people don't give things enough respect. But men specifically love to make that comment when it comes to physical stuff. And he's just like, no, mate. Like, it's not that simple. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, and I think you always get the like, oh, I was going to join up, but blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I don't say anything because I ultimately don't care, but I don't think, mate, I think anyone in the military, especially Marines, will be rolling their eyes at all of this talk because, like, training stories, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just, I don't think no matter how many times I explain it to people just don't understand how, like, just uncomfortable it is. It's just uncomfortable. Imagine just being uncomfortable all of the time. Imagine going to bed imagine going to bed every night for however many years you've lived on this earth and you've never been able to find that comfy spot. That's what it's just like for like 9 months or 8 months, wherever it is. It's just constantly uncomfortable. And then sometimes it's really uncomfortable to the point it's painful physically. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable to the point it's painful mentally. And then it's just like, you just think to yourself every single day, what am I doing, mate? It's not even that much money. It's shit pay. Like, it's not like, what am I doing it? Like, birds don't care. like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what is going? But
so it's like you've chosen torture.
Yeah, it's like chosen torture. It's just stupid. And yeah, I fucking hated it, to be honest.
Yeah,
yeah, training. Yeah,
training was fucking hard.
Yeah, I hated it. Yeah, I was also shit, so there's also that.
So, but then you had something to prove. So it's kind of like, and you got through it.
Yeah.
So what was there moments in that?
Through the net, as they say.
Yeah. Just about got. What was it? I guess, because you're looking around you and you got some guys in there that probably found it, or they looked as if they're finding it easy. But is everyone kind of like under because you don't want to show off the weakness as masculinity comes in. You don't want, like, anything we do, not just military. When I go about and work, and I've worked up the corporate, and you sort of put it on this face, and you're there going, fucking hell, I don't know what's going on here. I don't want to ask that question because I don't want to be called out. And you're trying to. Is that the same thing in terms of military? You're there going, don't call me out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you don't want to.
Showing
weakness, especially them days, like,
you must have
showing weakness was like,
can't be done. Because I've heard from other guys that have gone and they say it's almost like the sergeant or the sergeant major, whatever. It's kind of like a bullying nature. It's like there's fine lines between wanting to, but I guess they're trying to create men that in the toughest environments in the world. So there's no other way around it. It's been known that they've obviously, some people have, taken training so far. They're not.
But then even the jury's out on that, isn't it? Because I mean,
it was. Yeah,
I think it's definitely got better, and I personally think that's better.
Yeah,
some people will disagree with me and think, it needs to go back to that. And some of the reasons they have are fair, but like, I think on whole, I think it's better. Like, I mean, and it's just worse the further you go back, obviously.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's just like,
like how much of it do you need to? How much do you need to?
You look back and you think,
that's just extreme.
But I think at the same time, so the Americans, for example, because we always get compared to America because everyone watches American films and like, do they shout in your face? And they don't really. It's happened, but they don't really. But the reason, there's a reason for that, why the Americans do that. So it's battle. I think they've actually stopped doing it, but it's battle inoculation, right? So the idea is that warfare is chaos, right? And it's chaos. Because what is chaos? Chaos is multiple stimuli happening at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So that's what war is. And it's probably the best or the worst example of chaos in the world is all out warfare, right? So they have to try the best they can to mimic that somehow. So the whole shouting in the face and confusing them and asking loads of questions and getting them to do press ups, they call that battle inoculation. That's them trying to mimic at various points or at the early stages before they're in the field and doing soldiering stuff. That's like, do you know what I mean?
Can you stay calm?
And it's also being able to think whilst that's happening. The British do the same. Will have the same mindset, but they just carry it out in a different way. Do you know what I mean? So they didn't shout in our face or stuff, but like, it's just the intensity of everything and just always being on you. Do you know what I mean? Just being like.
Like sleep, you said, like sleep deprivation.
Yeah, well, that's like in the field, but like even just on camp, it was just like they wouldn't shout, but it'd be like, guess what? It's lunchtime. Brilliant. We're all starving. Obviously, we're always starving.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You've all just been in the gym, so you're all sweaty and disgusting. You're not allowed to eat in any. We call them galleys because we're essentially Navy, so all our terms are Navy, but the area you eat, the cafeteria, if you like, dirty is because it's a Navy tradition, because being clean on ships is very important. Otherwise, people get sick and then the ship is not well ready, right? So then you're filthy, but then in training, everything has to be perfect. So then when you get a shower, which you have to have, get dressed, which you obviously have to do, your uniform has also got to be in pristine condition, but then you've also got to eat, right? So they'll give you 10 minutes to do that.
Yeah, mate, it's...
So they just give you, they don't shout in your face, they'll give you impossible tasks, right? Which they know that most of you will fail. But guess what? One in all in. One failed, you've all failed. So now you get an inspection, which obviously everybody fails because you have to cut corners in order to even make the food. Not make it, but make it on time to get the food.
Yeah. And
now what? You've now going to get punished. So now they punish you. So now you're being punished physically. Yeah, they might shout at a collective at some points, maybe. Some don't, depends on their style, but they're not in your face. But now you're tired, you're all sweaty again, so now you got to get cleaned again. Now they've made you late to your next appointment, which is with some random angry corporal who's teaching some random thing. So now he's pissed off with you lot because you're late, so now he's beasting you. And it's just like a knock-on effect.
A constant beasting.
So, and this is just on camp doing lectures, by the way. This isn't even in the field doing soldiering stuff. This is just, or physically soldiering. This is just like theory. So
it doesn't sound, I'm telling you, you're just saying that, and I'm like,
yeah.
I think I'd be gone. No, I know myself. I sometimes I think I would love to, when I was lost over the years, I would have loved to just go, the nice thing with military is you go in, you know what's what. You know, that structure and that discipline, and you learn. But again, I've realised now, just saying that, I don't know. I find it hard, people telling me what to do.
Yeah, I think, but
obviously,
you kind of get over that, because I was like that as a kid. Like I don't have a problem with authority, but I also, if I think you're talking nonsense, I'll tell you, kind of thing. Like, and I used to get in trouble with teachers with it all the time. But like, the difference is these were blokes who would just like, some of them would just come back off tour and stuff. And you just had respect for them.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also you wanted to be them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They had to always be careful, because at the same time, some of these lads come from nothing, like tough working class kids. So you also had to, like, you know, be aware of your surroundings and stuff. But like, for the most part, like, I'm sure there was corporals that some of the lads could have beaten up, but that wasn't the point. You're here to be like them, so that's where they're respected. Yeah. Some of them are obviously just nails in themselves, but like, you know what I mean? And so it was just like, well, yeah, I mean, like, I don't have to do this, but I'm here by my own choice. The British military
get it done.
Is a volunteering thing. But then it was just pride. Pride not giving them the satisfaction that you've failed. Because like, for the first 15 weeks, they're trying to make you fail.
Like, what was that first? Yeah, that 15 weeks, do you say?
Yeah, they're trying to. They're just playing games. Like, they'll like beast you in the field for whatever minor thing minor or major, to be fair, thing that you've done. And they've woken up at 3 a.m. I remember like crawling through this puddle, but it was like a sandy track. And I just had sand in every crevice for about a week. It was horrific, mate.
Man.
And but it was like 2 a.m. They just had that Land Rover lights on so they could see, and they were just like screaming at us, going, "You lot of this, that, and the other." Like, because it's like there's also a personal pride thing between them. So like, they take care of one troop, but their mates will be 2 weeks ahead with another troop. So it's like, we heard you lot are rubbish. Like, nah, do you know what I mean? So there's also that for them as well. So like, they sometimes take things personally. Sometimes they don't take it personally at all, but it's part of the game. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I struggled to understand that at first. I'd be like, oh, why? And some of the other lads are like, mate, it's literally just part of the game. Just get on with it. Yeah. It took me a while to sort that to sink in. But and they'd just be like, they'd be like, oh, they'd suddenly lower their voice and be like, yeah, I think I told you this on the blower, didn't I? I was like, they were like, lads, you just got to put your hand up. Like, by the way, we're doing like press ups, but they're like really bad ones because we've been doing loads of them. And
like 25%.
And they're not watching it. They're not watching us at this minute because now he's doing his monologue. Do you know what I mean? He's like, lads, you say the word, we'll drive you back to camp right now. You can have a hot bit of scran down your neck, be in a warm bed, and you'll be back home, hair stroking your missus by noon the next day. And when you're hungry and tired, that's like someone talking dirty to you, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
no,
you're like,
imagine your ass crack.
Imagine it.
Yeah, you're wet through.
Yeah, wet through.
You're thinking, look, you must be going, like, how much of you in that moment is just like...
Mate, the only reason you don't, for me personally, was just pride.
Just pride.
Just personal pride. And
how do you switch that in your
from
moment?
home, like going back home and telling me when his mates go, oh, joining the Royal Marines was, like...
Yeah, so that's what we were saying as well. Only briefly, we literally spoke once before this, and it's like that moment of, you got to use whatever dark you can find.
Yeah, you got to find that dark place, mate. Yeah,
it's the only way you're going to get, because you can't go, oh, if you're just like, oh yeah, no, I think I'm going to take that warm bed.
Yeah. I was also laziness, because I think you had to write it, not at that point, but like if it was your own decision that hadn't prompted it, you had to write a letter essentially. I just couldn't be bothered.
You know what? Fuck the letter off.
Yeah, I just I can't be arsed. Like the whole I've got to write it. Then like the embarrassing part of like handing it in. Like I was like, I'm not writing that, mate. But yeah, they definitely wanted me to leave. They bloody hated me. But yeah, it's just a bombardment. Yeah, I can go on about it all day, but it's just like.
Is there any things that really stay with you in that period?
Just being uncomfortable.
Is that it? If you just
because the physical stuff, I don't think I ever failed anything physically. I think once I kind of failed, but didn't fail like a 12-mile, load carry, which is a 12-mile yom.
Load carry? Sorry.
So it's just a yom. So it's like moving over long distances with all your kit. At a certain pace. I can't remember what the pace is, but I think it's not a big deal. You just go and do it. But I think they were just in a bad mood, and for the first time and only time, I started struggling with blisters, and I was hanging out like just tired, and I was hanging off the back with a few other guys off the main group until like the last minute, and I saw the finish line, so I sprinted and made the group. And as we came in, they separated a few of us, and was like, "Yeah, you lot fell." I went, "What?" Well, I didn't say that. Obviously, I was going to say. I didn't go. What? I was kind of like, "You know about bruv." Yeah, we know about bruv. Oh, mate, I was like, and then they then explained it. It was like, we're all about coming in as a body of men. Which, in fairness, they always banging on about that. Come in strong as a body of men. It's a team game at the end of the day, right? We're not trying to be Jason Bourne here. And it was like, really? Because they didn't have to do that. They just wanted to, right? I'm like, yeah, you didn't come in as a body of men. So then I had to like do it again on a harder course when we was on the Rangers for a week. It was on something called the roller coaster in Dorset. But yeah, past that flying colours. That's the only thing I think I ever failed physically. I took longer to learn certain aspects, I think. But then when it was like test week and stuff, like I don't think I ever failed anything. And as hard as it is, you at some point you go back, have a shower, then start lectures. In the field, it's just no let up. It's physical, it's wet, it's hot, because that can be just as bad sometimes.
Yeah, so what's the transition like going from your training, you pass with flying colours, you're officially you got through it.
We got through it, yeah.
And what's that transition like when you're actually out in the field?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I was having this conversation with my dad actually not like a few days ago. We were talking about university in general, and so there was a similar conversation he said that I had when I was in basic training, and I think I was very nervous. I don't often get nervous, really. Oh, people like to say that, but maybe that's not true. But
I can't imagine it. Yeah,
I don't really. But like, I was really nervous about moving to an actual unit because it's different. Like, they even like used to get like reminders about it, but like, oh yeah, because if you're King Squad, you're the most senior troop on camp, which means you've done your commando test. You're just doing drill, like practicing drill for when your family come to show off, basically. He's like, yeah, top of the world, are you? Well, you'd be back at the bottom of the pile when you join the unit. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, in my head, it was like, I'm gonna join up with these blokes that have done this and have done that, and like it was just, yeah, I was 17, and I hadn't, you know what I mean? That was like
fucking young.
The first thing I've done with any notoriety. No, any first notable thing I'd done apart from be second fastest in Bedfordshire. You know what I mean? Like, my world was tiny, so it was just like it was just a very daunting thing to me. Being so young and stuff, and then I was just second guessing whether I had what it takes to even carry, because the weight of like the Green Berets basically just carries with you. Like everything you do is judged by that standard at that point, right? Yeah, it was just, I don't know. But it was just a weird time anyway, because we had sort of joined towards the end of what is now known as the GWAT era, the General War on Terror. And even though I'd been watching British soldiers go to war pretty much the entire time I was in high school and before, and I say watching, I mean on the news, obviously.
Yeah. And
documentaries and blah, blah, blah. But there wasn't many after I passed that basic training. I think there was like 2 Royal Marines ones. Not the first one, but the first one that happened since I had joined, being a proper tour and whatnot. And then I think the one after that, didn't not much happen. But it was just a weird time, because then the military basically, although I didn't go on that tour. A lot of my close friends did. It was kind of like a 50-50 thing. When I say 50-50, I mean like out of the lads I was in training with. And then like there wasn't any notable tours after that. And then essentially the military then decided, or the government decided, that the military was now not focusing on Afghanistan, which they had been for, I can't remember how long, but it was over a decade.
Yeah, long time.
And if you think about it as an institution that concentrates solely on one thing to then just pivot and then not, I think it leaves that institution in a weird place. And I feel like I felt that. Do you know what I mean? And then I think the jeopardy wasn't there anymore. Like the purposeful jeopardy wasn't there anymore for people. Like I remember like guys saying stuff like, you know, I don't know, I was doing XYZ in Afghanistan however long ago, and I'm mopping the floor. Right. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and I think a lot of lads who had done stuff struggled with that, and I get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the adrenaline.
Yeah, it's just like
everything being.
And it's also just like who used to tell me to do this when I've been doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
There's loads of factors play into it, and it's also just like, what's the point now in me being in if that's not? Is
that what you felt? Was it?
No, this was the general consensus, because most Marines who were older than when I say older, I just mean in terms of they'd been in longer. And there were guys who were like 26 years old and they'd done 2 tours by the time they were reached 25 or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, it's mental. Like, then some a bit older had done Iraq and Afghanistan. Some a bit older had done Iraq, Afghanistan, and Northern Ireland. When you think about it, yes, it pales in comparison to the, pre-Cold War era wars or whatever. But in our living memory, like it's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So that was the vibe of the military, and especially the Marines. Like that was what people spoke about. That's what people's reputations were based on, and so on and so forth. The people that took me through training had all been in conflict. The stories you would hear, blah blah. So when that decision is made, from top to bottom, the military is a bit lost, I think, and I think that's what happened. But the problem with that is if they're the ones you look up to, it's a trickle down effect. Because if they ain't got nothing to be in it for, what have you got been in it for? And there was I don't know the numbers, but I feel like there was a mass exodus in the military in general. And to make things, or to add salt to the wound, the military's wound, the private sector was paying pop star wages at the time. So lads were getting out and doing maritime security because of the Somalian pirate threat.
Yeah.
And close protection at the time was paying decent money. So lads were getting out and earning good money. And like, if you had a tour, they'd slap you up, especially if you was a Marine or a whatever, or at least infantry. And then if you was a Marine or a para, even better. If you was SF, even better. Do you know what I mean? So it was just like, that had like a trickle down effect, I feel like. And then instead of having my own agency, I think I was swept up by that and was just like, yeah, it is, because I was at a unit I didn't like, or nobody liked. So I was just like, oh, fuck, I'll just leave. But actually, I think the thing I should have done was gone, okay, how can I refocus? What should I refocus on? But I just lost my confidence in soldiering. So it was just like, and the military in general. So the
timing was just a bit off for you, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah. Because like, the corporals and even like the lads who were like a few years old, I don't say a few, I mean like 5, 6 older than me, 5, 6 years older than me, still like within my age group kind of thing. But the way they spoke about their time at the fighting units and stuff was like, mate, best time of my life. Best time of my life.
Yeah, like, I want a bit of that.
And it wasn't just conflict, it was when they were in the UK and adding to the conflict. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, and the conflict adding to that as well. It's like purpose, it's simple. You're with the lads, you're with
the brotherhood, yeah.
It's also a different time where you could get away with more stuff just in general and in society anyway.
Yeah,
just doing what you want and just being a general geezer, right? So, but I think I did have that. I had aspects of that, but then I also didn't go to a fighting unit as well, so I didn't get that. So it was just, and then everyone was just leaving and I should have had more agency and just been like, but also it became kind of like within my group, kind of like it became stupid to care. It was like, oh, what would you care for? Do you know what I mean? And then
you've lost it all though.
Yeah, and it's stupid. And then actually, I think deep down I did care and I did want to do something else. At least like, I don't know, re-roll or do a course or whatever. And it's not, I guess it is regret, but it's not something that
didn't play on your mind a lot.
Not playing on my mind a lot. It used to, I think, but it doesn't so much anymore.
Because you met some amazing people in there as well.
Yeah, I'm still friends with most of them. Yeah.
You know,
most of them. Yeah. Most of the ones I was close to, I'm still friends with now. Yeah, that's whose wedding I'm going to next. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I left, and obviously the problem was it left a massive hole in me. In the thing I was looking for and didn't feel like I didn't get was still missing, and I kind of found it temporarily in like going out and raving and doing all that kind of nonsense.
So you came back. Sorry, how old were you, Isaac, when you came?
When I left, I was 21. Yeah,
21. I think. So 17 to 21.
21, 22.
Yeah. So good 4 years.
5 years.
5 years.
So 20. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, who knows that? What young guy, whoever's listening, you think you know yourself. 21, early 20s. You think you start to have a good idea of the world, and you only realise over time. And you military, you obviously geopolitically, you see you're getting exposed to a lot more. You're looking at the world view versus people that are just like down in Devon. When I moved from Nottingham to Devon with my mum and dad divorced, it's like it's the how do I explain it? Just imagine going from a school of 1,500 people to a school of 110.
Well, I kind of felt that because I had to move to Devon in order to start training the Royal Marines, and it was like a different world to what I was used to. So
you're like,
I understand that, but right round the corner from the place we're talking about, essentially as well, which is fitting.
Yes,
but,
yes, indeedy.
But yeah, I get it. I do. Yeah.
And so for you though, like the 5 years then to come, I just am. I want to be in your head at that moment. So you're going out, you're trying to fill this void almost of, oh my God, I've just spent, because probably some of it feels like wasted time.
I don't know if it was wasted time. I think it was, because I think we were always still proud of what we'd achieved. Like, no one can ever
take that away from, no.
Like, mate, I did not think I was going to pass, put it that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a very fun and exclusive club, I guess. You know what I mean? So it's cool. Like, I'll never let go of that, you know.
What did you call it in your article? The
biggest boys club in the world, I didn't come up with that. That's something that people would say.
Okay, yeah,
in and around the Marines that I thought was. I think I just wrote it, and then they were like, and they thought, yeah, this fits.
Take that.
That fits as like a bit of a headline kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I think the issue was, I think that if I had joined at a different time or maybe a different unit, someone would have, because this is the other thing as well, like lads would talk about how when they joined there was a certain character who put their arm around them and guided them, but I didn't really have that necessarily. I had it kind of, but not completely, because most of these guys were leaving.
Yeah, I see.
So they didn't put, listen, they still, excuse me, when I'd make mistakes they would obviously punish me, but then go, these are my peers now. This is when I'm a trained rank, right? But then later they'd go, listen, mate, if you need any help with anything, just let me know, kind of thing. It's a weird culture. It's like, you fucking did this, I'm gonna punish you, and then it's like, when no one's around, by the way, if you need, just let me know. Like, right? It's so strange. Like, they're like, listen, man, no, if you wanna help me, you just give me a shout out, me. Oh, cool, all right. And then that's it. And you're like, what? You fucking hate me?
You just grilled me.
You hated me yesterday. Like, anyway, but it's good. I think it's something that the world can take away from the military. Well, at least the way that we did it anyway in the Royal Marines. But so I think I missed that where someone cared enough to put their arm around me. And it's not a criticism of them, because they were leaving. That chapter kind of finished. They were concentrating on resettling and changing their life. So I think I missed out on maybe someone going, because lads had that. Especially my mates who went to fighting units. They had that guy that went, right, this is, and like sometimes you just, it's like a buddy thing. They just kind of pick you and you like, but I had that to us in a sense, but not really because of the time I joined in the places I went to. But anyway, yeah.
But
so,
then suddenly you're out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, will resonate with this because we're youngsters or they're further along in their journey, they're mid-20s or mid-30s, they come out and everybody you speak to struggles with civil land.
Yeah. It's a massive issue. It's something I ponder on for myself and other people, and it needs looking into more. And I think it connects with masculinity and men in general, but lads leaving the military struggle. And I thought it was like just a PTSD thing. It's not, because I don't have PTSD because I didn't fire a single shot in anger. I didn't even step foot in any of these countries, right? So why did I struggle too? And there's a big hole in some kind of research somewhere where these questions need to be answered. I think the PTSD obviously magnifies it for those who struggle with it in any capacity, but I don't think that is the only sort of thing that's not the only thing that is allowing lads to struggle. There is other things going on. The ones with PTSD struggle more so because it just magnifies it, of course. But
you probably feel quite lonely because you're
massively
part of it. The Marines, like you're part of this pack, and they're a certain way. And it's just not like that out here.
Yeah, it's not like
nothing like it. And so that probably all those things are lost, and you found yourself. You're back at. Was it back at Luton then?
I only stayed in Luton for like 6 months, and I was like, mate, I'm getting out of here. And I moved up north because I knew a lot of lads I served with up north.
And this is when life took life is it's a lot cheaper up there. Yeah.
At the time,
And life took a bit of a turn for you when you moved. Not
that because that's the wrong word to use, but because it was like a gradual thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
so
I kind of knew what I was doing, but I think a lot of it was my own fault because I was so imbalanced and not in the right place. I was just taking more and more risks. And then I'm a bit of an idiot. Instead of getting balanced in order to make better decisions, I was just looking for more and more shortcuts, if that makes sense. Or that's financially, emotionally, whatever. It was just...
I've only spoken to you, so like I said, once before and now, and I struggle to see you in those decisions. Do you know what I mean?
Man, I'm chaotic, mate. My room's tidy, I'm clean, all of that, but it's chaos in there, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm with you
and
there.
Not in like a
bad way,
a sad boy. Well, it is negative, but not in like a sad boy sort of way. Just in like I don't know. I've definitely got ADHD, that's for sure. I'm not diagnosed, but
something you can say.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's a psychologist, so I'm pretty sure if I asked him, he'd give me a straight answer.
He don't want to labour you. So good on him, at least.
But like, it's just. And I don't know whether that's the reason, but like, I don't know. I am impulsive. I'm not risk averse. Like, it's just a recipe for disaster. Do you know what I mean? It's the same reason I joined the Marines. So,
and I can imagine you're a very your emotional intelligence, especially after going to Marines, because you're very intellectual, and then having your background coming up, seeing different things. You go to Marines, you understand yourself more and how the world works a bit more, meeting all these different people. You come out and then you sort of those skills that you've learnt, which most people don't have, suddenly you're in this environment where you think, I get this world could make sense.
But also, I've also learned that I can do anything because that's what, and I'm not saying that's true, but that's what you get told in the Marines, right? And to a certain extent it is true. And I will tell that to anyone, whether they've got earned a green beret or not. But then, so when these like mad opportunities are coming, I'm like, no problem, do you know what I mean?
See it as a challenge. You don't look at maybe the risk factor because
I do, but that's also a reason why I do it.
yeah.
But I do risk assessments. It's not that I don't do risk assessments, but it's just But the other thing is like I might be able to speak to somebody and give them good advice, but mate, at the end of the day, it takes a smart man to know the world and a wise man to know himself. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I can give people all the advice I want. Yeah. Am I gonna take it? Potentially not for myself. Do you know what I mean? As I'm getting older, maturing, that's changing. But it's just I don't know. I'm a bit of an idiot, to be honest. That's just what it is. Yeah. And I just love a risk. Unfortunately, I just love it.
Well, you're talking to a gambling addict at one point, so
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
So
you
you understand, yeah.
absolutely.
You understand, mate.
Yeah,
You know?
don't go to Vegas when you've got a gambling problem. Is all I'll say. Good advice. Yeah, yeah. Go for your 21st birthday.
I think that's the one vice that I haven't fallen foul of. You know.
And see, isn't that's the fascinating point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Both got similar brains, like are very active, risk, love risk, but a little bit calculated. But then you've and you know what, the drug moving to Devon, drugs didn't become a big thing until 22. I remember being offered my first line of coke. Before then, it was like drink. We just drank a lot, and that was it. Like it just seemed to be that's the best thing.
Yeah.
But it was never really around, and then suddenly my mate comes, just managed to find, and then it took off, and then that was it.
That's it, innit? That's it, and then it's just
And I'm assuming that might have been, you say gradual. I can't imagine some of my mates now touching this stuff, but then suddenly it's taking. This didn't do it anymore, obviously. But in the middle of the week, I'm like, we're not even going out, bro. Like, what?
Oh no, that's when it becomes an issue. I think actually. Yeah, maybe I should say it's always an issue, but yeah.
It's
definitely an issue when you're doing that. Yeah.
But what's those? If do you mind me asking, Isaac? It's like those gradual decisions. And by the way, up north, it's one of the best nights I've ever had in Liverpool. Mates went to uni there.
Yeah, it's good crack, mate.
Very good crack, good gang. So yeah, what I guess where do you go after once you're up north? You're looking at probably various jobs, and because I did loads of the typical. In the office, doing telesales, doing surveys for Southwest Water. Horrible.
I was trying. It wasn't that I was like, I'm going to be a criminal. Like, I was trying. Do you know what I mean? And then, I mean, the problem is that being from Luton, like, drugs and crime wasn't alien. Not that I was a criminal before.
I see what you mean, though.
Because I wasn't, like, maybe fighting was probably the worst thing I'd done. But, like... Like it was just so normal. Do you know what I mean? I knew some like crazy people like were just doing weird stuff, but it was just around me. So it wasn't a big shock to me. So it was like, oh yeah, I understand that. I know that. Yeah, I know people that can do that and do this and do that. Do you know what I mean? So
oh,
it's
okay,
just like,
so you just
So it's just like, and then it's like also I don't like no one's gonna judge me for it because all my mates. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go home and they'll be like, oh, what you like? It's just I don't know. I think that helped, but then also, I don't know. But I I think if I was in a better place financially, emotionally, mentally, like I would have been less likely to make these decisions. Not that they weren't calculated in some way, because they were. I mean, I was almost very unlucky to go to prison the way that I did, because I used a phone that the European police hacked, and I just happened to get into the Class A game at that time. Like, do you know what I mean?
Jesus, that's bad luck.
Before that, it was just like weed and stuff. So,
but all these things happen for us. You have to say,
it's just mad to think.
But it's a mad, but just before you get to that part, do you mind just touching on, like, because again, most people are like, oh yeah, I've just sold this thing or done that. It's like they think that we have it in our small town, right, where people are like, you see, like, there's a garage that nobody like uses. Yeah, like it's the same cars, but there's loads of money going out there, and you just start to know people that are doing stuff. Yeah, and you're like, I can see how if the world doesn't provide you with an opportunity and you just don't have that network around you, or you think, you know what, and I'm sure I've probably thought it sometimes, thinking, God, I'm a good salesman. I could shift this stuff. Yeah. Because you understand, like, but navigating that world, and that's what's always scared me.
Well, I'm like,
naive to it, probably.
I walk into any room, it doesn't bother me. Right? So that was my superpower. Because the thing about, like, the organised crime world in general, it's like, it's all about relationships. You have to convince somebody to work with you, and there's got to be some, like, trust is a very fickle thing in that game. So, like, you have to make people believe that you're a decent geezer, because and it's not even just about you doing something like robbing them, and it's even just about, like, are you not an idiot and gonna fuck things up for me? And then it has like a knock-on effect, and it's not to say that, like, the first reprisal from that would be anything crazy, but, like, people just don't want the headache. But I was good at that, like, you know, I could, yeah, like for some reason I could win people over. So that was just a good part of it. But, yeah.
Is there anything going through that and operating in that world? Yeah, again, people will watch a series on Netflix and be like, suddenly you just think, oh, I know how that world sort of works. And there's lots of people coming out on podcasts and stuff now talking about, there's an Italian guy, he's everywhere, isn't he? In America, he was in one of the biggest, is it Al Pacino or one of those? Like he worked on the...
Oh, you're on about the guy who's like, he's a Christian now.
Yeah, yes.
So they called him, I can't remember his proper name, his real name, but they called him the Yuppie Don. Yeah. No, it was way after, did you say Al Pacino?
Yeah, that's hold on.
That's an actor, bro.
What did he play though? Who did Al Pacino play? So that's what I talk about in this series. Al Pacino.
I know you're thinking of like oh my god, the Al Capone.
Al Capone. Yeah,
Al
mate.
Capone was prohibition. Al Capone was prohibition. Like anyone from that would be dead now. Like you're talking 20s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Prohibition is 20s, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think. Anyway.
He wouldn't be out talking now. Like, but sorry, I've gone off piece there.
No, but he's called the Yuppie Don because, I mean, there's people that are now pushing back and saying that he's talking rubbish, but he had this like fuel scam and he made millions, even though he wasn't. I think he may have been a captain or like something close to that, but even though he wasn't like one of the main leaders, because he had this thing, he made people. He was under like. I think he was around like Gotti's era or something like that. Maybe.
Yes.
I'm no mafia expert, but something like that. But yeah, I don't know. One thing to say is, for the most part, like, so here's one thing. What I got arrested for, I had obviously done things before that, but way less serious. Okay. I also don't really want to go into it because I don't know what the implications are.
Fair. No, it's not it.
The more serious thing I got done for, which is public knowledge, or at least is available to the public. I actually wasn't involved in that for very long. That particular conspiracy, which ramped up quite a bit because it was Class A, it was international because it's important, blah, blah, blah. Which is why I talk about how funny it is, how quickly that happened. I think it's weeks and months that I was probably involved in that. And this EncroChat phone, you kind of had to have because the global organised crime network used it. Okay. And you kind of had to have one for the in. Do you know what I mean?
I see.
And even when it went down, I was like, what are they going to want with little old me? Even if they find the messages, they bother chasing me. But they did. Anyway. So
how many were all together? It's like a big operation thing.
I mean, the people on the other side didn't get... Because the UK was the only one to arrest people on... They were the only country to use it as admissible evidence, whereas everybody else used it as intelligence, even though they weren't the ones that even got the evidence in the first place. Anyway, or intel.
Good old UK.
Good old UK, yeah. So there was two of us in the sense where me and my mate, but there was a third in the sense that was also arrested on the case.
Right. Okay.
But I think like, so yeah, one, take a pinch of salt because I I obviously have other experiences on peripheral things as well, but it's like, I would never say that I was an expert, you know. But at the same time, I have much more knowledge than the average person, so I get it.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing that really sucked me into it was I'm just such a curious person. I wanted to see the inside of it.
I see.
And I got a chance to peer into it, you know. And yeah.
Anything that people see as a misconception, or you like think
it
people
depends.
are
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really watch much stuff of people talk. Like sometimes I do, and sometimes I think, I don't know. Maybe that is true for them. Maybe it's not. I think for a lot of people, their USP is that, so they protect it and they don't want to. Like I will usurp anything about me. Like my identity is not based around it. Therefore, if someone wants, I have no reason to be like, well, no, because like whatever. Like, yeah, you weren't that big in the game anyway. Yeah, Sam, I know. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So, but I understand that I have been able to peer into something that most people haven't, so I get why people are interested. But there are a vast majority. Sorry, there are loads of people that will know more about it, but they might not be able to articulate it in the same way, and that's, I guess, where I come in. But at the same time, you know, I don't really know. I haven't really decided how much I can or want to even give away. Really, the one thing is that this whole idea that you walk into a meeting with someone and it's all moody and everyone's ready with their hands down their trousers, ready to become a gunslinger. In my experience, was nonsense. Like, it's a casual business meeting.
And these guys are super smart. Because there's a thing you sort of assume, you go, oh, they couldn't work out how to do things in the normal realm, so they've gone like, oh, they're like scumbags. Like people think, oh, they're just low. These guys are super smart to operate.
I think people who say like it's the easy way out haven't spent a day in even my shoes, which isn't even that experience. Like, in my opinion, at least, it's fucking stressful, mate. In many different ways. It's not easy at all. Like, it might be easy to some people because it's accessible. But then at the same time, if you walk down the street and started asking every Tom, Dick and Harry that you want to buy a kilo of cocaine, mate, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to think you're a nutter. And if you do come across someone who can give you it, they're going to be like, this guy's definitely a fucking old Bill. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know why people say that. Like, I don't know where that comes from, because it's not easy. It's just accessible, but it ain't easy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they are intelligent, but they definitely have some level of smarts. But then there are also a lot of idiots out there as well, because for whatever reason, because of where they're growing up or who they know, it's accessible to them. There's a lot of people doing dumb stuff and making mistakes, fucking stuff up, blah blah blah. So it's also a murky world as well, because there's a lot of bad actors. So bad actors because they have bad intentions, and bad actors because they're just not up to scratch in general, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's because of who they're hanging around or because they're just idiots themselves. But yeah, I think that's the whole idea. You walk in, like, you know, there's this like business meeting and everyone's all like tight-lipped and like scowling at each other over the table. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, like one bad
you're
decision
trying to
move.
win them over. Like, why would you be fucking staring at them like that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, trying to build trust with
you
these
go
people.
for a beer, you try and make each other feel warm and fuzzy so that they will give you the stuff you need and they trust that you're going to give them the money they want. I mean, that's me talking about it in a roundabout way. I know I'm not being specific, but I don't really want to be specific.
Yeah, let's not go into the. We don't need to go into the intricacies.
But that's it. And then I mean, I think I always had this idea that like it was just for a little. I should have just stuck to what I was doing before, although it was also illegal. But like, it was nowhere near as serious as this, and I would have more money because I wouldn't have been in prison not earning money. But the way I also wouldn't be sat here, so there you go.
Hey, exactly.
But yeah, it was just a crazy way of how it all happened, man. Like, to get caught up in this whole EncroChat hack thing, which surprisingly people don't know much about, when it's probably one of the craziest things to happen in British criminal history, or even world criminal history, in the last, however, probably like hundreds of years, mate. I don't know when the last milestone in criminal.
I don't know much about it.
In short, EncroChat was a legal company. I think it was registered in France. It was a phone that was heavily encrypted. The police say that like 90 or 95% of the people that used it were criminals, which is why they were allowed to hack it. I don't know what that means, because don't you have to prove it before the facts? But anyway, they've been going for 5 years. I'd obviously heard about them before I got involved and knew what they were. You kind of had to have one to move up to those levels. Or to talk to certain people. I think people got complacent because they were safe for 5 years. The police knew about them. They would even arrest people with them, but couldn't get into them. But this is a global phenomenon. So obviously, what do you think is going to happen? In hindsight, the system of law enforcement is going to try their best they can to hack this thing, because that's the golden ticket, and that's what they did. And that's that, really. Like, but then what am I gonna say to him? Oh, no, I don't trust it. I can't. We're not gonna work together. Like, who was I to say that to them? Do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, they hacked it. We found out about the hack because they sent a message. 6 months later, I was in prison on remand.
Do you mind my eyes? Where's your head at from? Because you've gone literally bop.
Yeah.
You now did you? I don't imagine you ever thought you would actually end up. Because you're a very smart geezer. No, you're a smart geezer.
I don't know about that, but I'll try.
Yeah, but you know, I think
you got to be realistic, though, mate. You got to be realistic. You got to think if you're playing silly games, you may win a silly prize, right? But the risk assessment I made in my head was, when you're doing these things, this is the thing. So when you're doing these kind of things, right, any kind of organized crime, I'm not being specific, but any organized crime in general, if you start it out, there is no data or intel for the police to arrest you. So the chances are you're probably not going to get nicked in the first year unless you're really unlucky, or you walk into someone else's.
You really are stupid.
Well, no, but or unlucky because you could walk into someone else's observations, right? So they could be getting watched by the police, and you walk into that because you're working.
You trust the wrong person.
It's just this was unlucky.
Odds.
Like they're looking at him for whatever, and then you walk into
Caught in it.
But then even if that did happen, they're going to only catch you with what they catch you with.
It might be a year or
whatever. Just I'm talking about weight, right? So they might catch you with a kilo.
Yeah,
right?
I see.
The problem with the Encro is they were able to look at 6 months worth of intel and data, which is why I got done for 50 kilos.
True, that's quite a bit.
So even
what's the value of that?
I can't remember what they valued. Yeah, it was like 5 million. I don't know. I think it was 5 million or something. I honestly can't. I just whatever in it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it was like 5 million or something. My proceeds of crime order was like 1.8 or something, but million. But I don't know. 1.8. They also overvalue it. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
does my brain do what you do now? I'm like thinking about all the numbers and thinking about business might.
But obviously, like them arresting people, like they've done people on metric tons. That doesn't happen, but it's because they were able to look at these people's phones, look at all the messages they sent, and add everything together. If they had watched me for a year, they still wouldn't have got 50 kilos because it would have been hard to prove 50. And even, do you get what I'm saying? Where they literally just went, oh, DPD, what are the weights of all those parcels that went to those addresses? Okay, how much does the packaging weigh? That's 90 kilos. Take away the packaging, 50 kilos. No,
let's put it on you. Let's put it on him.
Yeah, there's no way I can argue that, right? So that was the interesting thing about the nature of, and this is for me a really interesting subject because there's just so many different things going on here. Because the thing is, they hacked people's data who may have been innocent, but they were like, well, they're obviously criminals because they're using EncroChat. Now, a lot of people think, well, yeah, I was guilty, right, cool. And I pretty much say almost 99% of all the people that got arrested on it were guilty. But here's the thing. How far does that go? If you can just go and take someone who you have no proof of being guilty's data, how far does that go? That's the government interjecting into our lives without any prior proof, right?
And that is happening all around us, by the way, right now. Exactly. Look at the digital currency coming in.
Exactly.
And
so
COVID,
that is something to look out to. That's like, okay, but you might go, well, you deserved it. Fine, whatever. But then if you allow governments to not be questioned on these things, they will eventually become malevolent, and then they will start looking into your stuff. And there's a myriad of people will go, but why? And there'll be a myriad of reasons why, right? And I'm not saying it's happening now, but I mean, it's starting to.
Yeah,
there's loads. There could be really innocent reasons like advertising, and there can be more sinister reasons like, I don't know, whatever. There could be all sorts of reasons, right? There could be. Yeah,
it's coming.
It's a whole nother podcast almost.
But anyway, it is, yeah.
So I find the subject genuinely interesting to me, and it was just wild because I was just around, and then I was just in jail overnight. Because someone somewhere, some police force foreign to this one, hacked a network that a phone I bought, which cost 1,500 quid, got hacked. And it's just like, I was like, not only is this terrible, because it's like Christmas and I'm in jail now, yeah, but like, what is going on?
Where's my presents, man?
This hasn't happened ever.
How old are you, Isaac? Sorry, when you're
27, 28.
27, 28.
And the thing that baffles me is that there are people that don't know about this. There has been documentaries, but obviously I'm starting to like get into the journalism world, and there's like big journalists that haven't even heard about it. And it's just like,
it's just been kept under wraps a bit.
This is a big deal, mate. Like it's interesting. One, it has connotate like big data is interesting. Cambridge Analytica, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Right? This is another version of that. Now, I'm not saying that, in my opinion, it was wrong. I was obviously guilty, but the way that it was done, in my opinion, it was wrong. I will hear your argument if you think otherwise. But even if you agree to it, we still have to look at this and question where this lies in the morality of data and our culture, because we don't quite know at this point, right? And this feeds into all these other things. So, yeah, it was strange, man. And no one really knew what was going on, because everyone was like, well, it's obviously going to get thrown out because it's an illegal hack and they're not going to use it as evidence and blah, 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 blah. And everyone was walking around the yard, chewing the fat, going, oh, we'll be sweet and blah, blah. Some people went guilty, got stung because obviously you
Yeah,
get
I mean-
credit if you go guilty. So that's the best way to control your how long your sentence is. If you go not guilty, you get no credit, so you get full whack. Like it was a mental time. There was like 1,500 to 2,000 people on remand for Encro when I was in prison. They're still arresting people to this day because of their Encro data, which was live in 2020.
Fucking
Because
hell.
the list is so long. Do you know what I mean? It's mental. It's crazy.
I've got 1,001 questions. But I know we've got limited time here. Yeah, it's mental.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But it's interesting too.
Very. I mean, I now like sort of in your head, you get gone to like so. Again, like you're being told you get a lawyer, and are you in your head? You're like, do I fight this thing? Do I just accept? Because how long would you spend? Well, first of all, what's it like? Where was the prison located? Was it up north? Because going into prison again, I know you're a big guy and can take care of yourself. I don't know about you, but I'm in trouble. You know, if I drop the soap, I better start training quick.
Do you know what? I think I'm a bit of a social chameleon. So like the whole
Yeah, but you
the
see the shit out of me still.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
there must have been some. You see some. They've seen it. Like the UK got some of the worst. I mean, look, they're releasing people.
yeah. The prison
early.
system. The prison system.
It's got no room.
The prison system's in rag order. Yeah, I was very lucky. I think if Carlsberg did prison journeys, mine was it, mate.
Shout out Carlsberg.
Yeah. I went to HMP Alt Course, which is the other remand jail in Liverpool.
Okay.
The other one being Walton, which is notoriously terrible.
Right,
Old Victorian jail, quite violent, blah, 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 blah. Alt Course, fucking picnic in comparison, right? And I only went there because they were on lockout because of COVID. So we couldn't go there.
Oh, okay.
Then, and it's like 20 years old, so it's fairly new as well. This one, the other one's Victorian.
Yeah, you're in trouble there.
And then I went to Berwyn, which is in North Wales, which is at the time I went there was 5 years old. They had showers in the room.
No way.
It was a wet toilet basically. So, you know, it was tiny, but hey.
Yeah, you take it.
It was, and you know, things happened, and there was handbags and blah blah blah. But it was really hard to get contraband in. Wasn't that violent. It was massive. There was like 2,000 prisoners or 1,800. Well, it holds 2,000 or 2,500, and there was like 1,800 when I was there. I also always got the best job in the prison system, which is the gym orderly.
I
had it in every single jail, which is a hat trick if I'm.
How do you do that?
I have no idea. I don't know.
There's your thing about operating. You just don't know how you do what you do.
You're
a very trusting person. You have that sort of aura about you. You can, you know what I mean?
And
so it must be that, like,
and that was a bird killer, as we called it. So as in jail bird killer, kills time. Training.
Yeah.
I mean, you're essentially a gym cleaner, gym orderly. But you just get to be in the gym all day, so you train all day, and you train some of the other lads, and and you know the gym screws are different to normal screws, normal officers. They do like a specific course. They pretty much only work in the gym. They wear a tracksuit, so they're a bit more chilled out. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah.
So I had a really simple time of it. Really, I mean, there's like relative. It's still prison. It's still shit. I still had issues. There was still, you know, keeping up relationships with family and girlfriends. There was one.
Side pieces.
Like, my wife and girlfriends.
Apologies.
And like, you know, just all sorts of things that you can go into. But in general, it was a piece of piss, to be honest. But relative, it was still shit. I still hated it. I still wanted to get out.
And how long would you serve?
I did 4 years and all. But also, I went to open prison quite early on as well. I compartmentalised 7 months remand. Okay, how long have I got left till I'm eligible for Cat D, which is open prison, where you can go to work, you can go home, you have to come back, but you can do that. I was like, I've got 18 months. That's not that bad. That fly by, boom. So I compartmentalised. So 4 years is a long time, but when I like broke it down, that's just a coping mechanism. It was fine. Was in the gym, started studying in there. Yeah, you get into arguments here and there. It happens.
Any serious
Nothing crazy. Like, the prison's just a weird place. Like, you're always just, even in like a prison that's not that violent, you're always a hop, skip, and a jump away from an argument or a bit of a.
And you must feel that because again, you've got the difference of actual military experience.
Yeah.
I know you didn't, like you say, in the fields like different, but you must have been like, always on edge, or you were probably pretty relaxed just because of your.
I was on edge when I first got there.
Yeah,
but after 2 weeks, I was chilled, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm a happy guy, man. I'll chat to whoever. Like, I'll chat to the crackhead.
Probably some respect for you actually, because people would have had a little bit of an idea as to why you were in.
Yeah, there is a criminal hierarchy. Whether I deserved it or not is a different question. But I think
helped you
when people realised that I was like on an Encro case and it was a 50 kilo. I mean, there was much bigger cases than that, so it's not like I was in the stratospheres. But like, even the officers treat you like that. They're like, oh, like you're in, like they treat you differently because like, it's weird, mate. Like
that is nuts.
Like when I got my DEPS, which is like your legal paperwork. Oh, that's big, isn't it? Oh,
Fucking
you know what I mean?
Man.
Like, and then you can use that to sort of your gain and get stuff that you would normally get. And just like you can work the system.
Yeah.
And then obviously people have respect for you, and there are obviously people that will try and see holes. There's always people trying to see holes, but then like
you stay
also like, mate, I'm a pussycat, but like having a bit of size to you.
Yeah.
I was up north in Liverpool, so like everyone was white, so I was like one of the few black kids. Not saying that they're all scared of black kids, but what it means is I'm different to them, therefore I'm not really a threat. I'm not involved in their local beef per se. But then I was also new Scousers because I worked in Liverpool, so then so I wasn't just like a random nobody, like I knew people through like my mate and stuff. So yeah,
so you're leveraging that a bit, and
but I'm not leveraging it like consciously. It's just what you do, innit? And and then generally I just think I'm chilled, innit? So like, what's the issue, kind of thing?
Chill, but I still wouldn't want to mess with you.
I don't know. People did say stuff like that, but I'd obviously not correct them, or change their opinion. But
yeah, you wouldn't want to be. You just think.
I'm just the other thing is like, because I knew I was so close to open prison, and which is based on good behaviour. I was also glad people felt like that, because I didn't want people to test me. Not because, I'm not that interested in conflict, to be honest. Obviously, if I need to do it, I will try and revel and enjoy it as much as possible. But I'd rather not, right?
I've never heard that before. Revel and enjoy it.
But the real reason, the real reason is that. But another massive reason was that if something happened and I was caught for it, then that would mess up my chances of going to DCAT as quickly as possible. And I just used to think that like other lads who have been out of prison quite a lot, or the emotional intelligence was a bit less than, they often put their reputation as the highest thing on the list. And it's easy to get wrapped up in that, don't get me wrong. It took me serious emotional sort of like, what's the word? Control to like not allow that to seep into some of my decisions, like really difficult.
I'm sure you were angry. Were you? What was the main emotions? Because I know you're pretty relaxed.
No, I was chill. But there was just sometimes there was things where I was like, the prison system, culture would say I have to act like this, but actually, how much is that worth this? Like, I was like, and in the end I was like, the quicker I get to DCAT, the quicker I get to hug me bird properly, like hug, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So making a decision based on a geezer because of some minor infraction, a bit gay, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Not there's anything wrong with being gay, by the way, just for lack of a better term.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm never going to see these geezers again. So actually, what do I care? And to be honest, it was minor. Don't get me wrong. There's a line, and it isn't that high. There is a line, right? But the things I'm talking about were kind of minor. And but the prison culture tells you any advance on your reputation needs to be met with violence and aggression, right? Because it's masculinity at its purest. It's most toxic, maybe is a better word.
Yeah.
At its most basic form. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like, and you just get easily so wrapped up in it. You don't get easily wrapped in it. I was generally fine, but if something was to occur, you easily get wrapped up in it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But I also, because I worked in the gym as well, that's another thing, because then I've got leverage in the gym. So then I can help people get sessions. I can, you know what I'm saying? But generally, I mean, I want to say it's the way that I looked and the way I walked around, and people did say stuff like that, but I just think it's just because I'm sound, you know? Like, I'm just
easy going, man.
You know what I mean? Like,
and you came out unscathed, and I mean, the more importantly, after all that, because we could spend, honestly, hours. Can you talking about all that stuff?
Yeah, of course.
The big thing for you in your story is after all of that, you now, which is nice to say, you end up coming out of prison, studying at Oxford
Brookes.
Oxford Brookes
but still,
Oxford.
No, yeah.
You know, and in journalism.
Yeah, I say but still as a joke. I think the fact that I'm just at uni, whichever uni that is, after it, I think it's not a common thing to happen. So I get it.
No, I don't think in the slightest.
And Brookes of course, it's not Oxford, but it is a good university. It's one of the strongest form polytechnics around, I believe. Not that I'm bothered about anything like that, but it is a good uni. It's a bit posh, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit posh. Yeah, it's a bit culturally. I've struggled, but
and you've gone from. I mean, look, it's like Marines.
I can't motivate
to fucking Liverpool up north with this environment. Then you've gone into prison. And now you're at Oxford Brookes. Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say you said about. I think you basically epitomise being the ultimate adaptation machine.
Yeah. That's
which, if you could, I guess for the listeners, your story, Isaac, is a lot of people don't end up here. They end up worse off, and people don't make it through to this, like in your temperament and the way you see life now and what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I guess two questions. Was what was it about journalism that? Where did you get that pull again? Was that in prison or was that afterwards? Or
I think that's another conversation with the old man. There's a reoccurring theme here, but I always knew I wanted to study something. Just naturally been a bit of a nerd. I didn't know quite what it was. I wanted it to be something that was useful to me. He mentioned it once upon a time, because I do read, watch journalism, whether that's documentaries or the news channel or YouTube or whatever it is, and like talking about the conspiracy theories. So I've been doing that from an early age. Maybe that was his thinking, but also it's direct to industry, very competitive industry, by the way. So it's not exactly like. It's not like studying nursing where you go almost like as long as you pass, you're almost guaranteed a job.
You're not even guaranteed anymore, actually.
Oh, you're not? No.
No.
Oh, I'll retract that statement. I apologise to the nurses out
It's
there.
a new thing I've learned.
Okay, wow.
It's the UK's
But that doesn't take away from the difficulty of it. I just mean that it's probably harder to be
Typically.
a nurse than be a journalist, but in terms of like what you're learning. But the problem is journalism is very competitive and there are minute
opportunity.
Yeah, is that the word? Right?
Yeah.
Opportunities out there. So it's not perfect choice, but it's. I knew that I needed to. Prison was shit. I made it work. I did the best I could out of the situation. I also was quite lucky in the prisons I went to as well. But essentially, I was like, "What? I need to turn this into something positive." I wasn't like in tears about, "Oh, what have I done?" Like, it wasn't like, "Oh, I need to turn." Like, it was just like, I'm here now. Let's see what we can make it positive out of this. It was just like that, right? And I knew you could study through Open University in prison, but DCAT, so open prison, people go to work. You have to earn it. You got to earn DCAT, then you got to earn the right to leave and come back because it's like a trust thing.
Yeah.
So people go and work every day coming back. You can also go to university instead of going to work. So I learned that I could do that, and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So I didn't study. Well, I did study at Open University, but I did an access course in arts and humanities just to kind of prepare me a little bit. For when I made that point, made that step, and then when I got there, there was an open day at the prison, Oxford Brookes. This is the journalism course. It was at the time the number one journalism course in the country. I was like, bloody hell,
take that.
It's all making sense. So yeah, I started studying and started doing it, and I don't know, it's just, mate.
Justice. What are you on? Quarter past.
Quarter past.
You got 5 in you?
Yeah, I got 5 in me. Yeah. I don't know. It was just I love history and all these kind of things, but I didn't want to study that properly because then it's like, okay, where's this gonna go? I need to get out of prison, or at least get out of prison, graduate, and then go. I'm doing that job. Whereas like you study history, it ain't like that, right? So there's that reason. 2, I consume a lot of journalism. I'm interested in the world. Another reason. I'm always interested in a multitude of different things. Journalism allows me to do that. And also, it's a job that can still provide the adventure and the risk and the danger and the excitement that I obviously have been clearly chasing throughout my entire life, right?
Right.
So
that's the theme.
That's the theme. And instead of saying, oh, I've got to change and become a librarian, nothing wrong with being a librarian to all the librarians out there.
Shout out to the librarian.
Shout out to the librarians. But instead of trying to change who I am, I just had to make a more constructive decision based around what I now know about myself. So if I'm going to stop chasing stuff that's going to get me into trouble, I mean, I've only been in trouble once properly, but like, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right? If I'm going to, you know, be more constructive about it, and I can't rejoin the military now because I've had me knuckles wrapped, then this seems like a job that can scratch the itch, or at least allow me to contain it. And if I want to be mental and crazy after I graduate and become a war correspondent or whatever else, or whatever it is, I can do that. Or if I want to chill out and, you know what I mean?
You've got the choice.
But the biggest thing is once I've started it, it's, and it's not been easy. Like I still struggle with university, with my within like time, not timekeeping as in turning up on time, but as in like getting, because I like work 2 jobs, I do uni, I'm still battling with like getting out in itself, which is a weird, surreal thing in itself. Like with the culture of Oxford and being around posh people, not making any friends, then start like, what isn't read the article. It's all in there.
I was going to say, I will put the article in the description. Check it out. Very good read. Very good read.
But it's making sense. It's all starting to make sense. Yes, I'm still getting extensions here and there because I'm not putting stuff in time. But like, it's making sense.
You're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. I'm making inroads and networking into the industry with really interesting and notable people, and they seem to like me, and I'm having opportunities like that article itself, and there are more on the cusp, right? And this isn't me bragging, this is me just saying what I say to myself to keep me going on this road, is that when I'm getting stressed out because the assignments are doing me nothing, I've got a mountain to climb after this wedding, by the way, in terms of my assignments and stuff, right? But I don't have to tell myself, but think about it, it's making sense. Like it's falling in place. There's obviously going to be bumps in the road, but it's falling in place. I wrote the article. It got published. It's a.
Did it get published by
Prospect magazine, which is a national political cultural magazine.
Yeah.
With like some really awesome journalists in there, like proper people and all that. Do you know what I mean? So, and people liked it, which was also a surprise to me. Do you get what I mean? I may be a one-hit wonder. However.
Pressure's on now, brother.
I've got to try. Do you know what I mean? And like, and you know, people are inviting me to things, and it's just starting to make sense, and I enjoy it, and I can see myself in the industry doing X, Y, Z. I don't know exactly what it will look like at this point,
but that's the beauty of it as well.
But of course,
the ripple effect will just take you.
It's I don't know. I don't know how to articulate it, but it's making sense. You know what I mean? And I've got tunnel vision. Like someone asked me the other day, so you're studying journalism. You want to be a journalist, and like tunnel vision, mate. That's it. There is no left, there's no right, there's no up, there's no down. There's within the scope there is, but I'm going to. This is the first time I felt like this since I joined the Marines at 17 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna earn that green beret no matter what happens. Like that's it. And for the first time ever, I feel like that again. And it's like I'm gonna do journalism. If I die trying, it's a weird thing to say. Who dies trying to be a journalist? But anyway,
50 cent, baby. Yeah.
Like whatever happens, I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever happens, I'm going to try my best to do it. And the only reason I'm not going to do it is because I don't make the grade. No one wants to work with me, or I die. That's it.
Yeah. No, and it is black and white.
And that's it for me. And I need that. I need that jeopardy. So yeah.
Everything, if you notice, everything you put your mind to. And I guess just to thinking about the audience now and young guys out there, it does feel like a bit of a mess at the moment. You know, the whole masculinity and purpose and meaning and mental health. But everything you put your mind to, you did make a success of it. I know you didn't. There's some patterns there where you didn't think you believed you were going to pass the Marines, for example, or in that crime world or wherever it is. But you have got to give you. I know you don't need to hear this, and you're sort of in that place where you're content within yourself, but the story is incredible.
Yeah,
it is. You know,
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I think I think a lot of places in there we haven't gone into the depths. We haven't had time to. But when all these years, like 10 years, whatever, longer than that, it sounds like it goes fast because you've got these. But there's moments in there that probably very, again, when you're losing yourself, and I mean, I have it. I posted Isaac years ago when I had a bit of good money in the corporate world, and I post on social media about holidays and stuff. And what I've come to realize is, I was doing that for validation because I was so miserable in the job that I had to, it justified it by saying to everyone I'm in Antigua on a jet ski.
Yeah, sounds good though.
But what a dickhead. And I look back at it now, no, genuinely, because now I look at it, it's like, I'm in the game of service media,
Yeah.
not social.
Yeah.
So when I put stuff out, is it for my ego? And you can't help but the ego is so powerful,
Yeah, so you got to battle with that.
It's the enemy.
You got to battle with that thing every day.
It's the enemy.
Yeah,
But
it can be used as a tool for good, but generally,
very much
you wanna
so.
You want to
Quench that
chill out,
bugger, man.
Yeah.
But any advice to the young guys, whether they're in Luton, they're in Nottingham, we talked about down in Devon, to Scotland, like they're on the cusp of these decisions, and it only takes one or two, and you could be on your arse, and people haven't got the willpower, the strength, the discipline of your upbringing to be able to get through all that without being on their arse and being fucked for the rest of their life. And I just want to help those people. So is there anything you can say?
Yeah, I think it's, look, this is the other beauty thing about the industry I'm trying to go into journalism, is that I am very obsessed with the topics you've just brought up and what you've just said and the questions around that. And I think it's going to be, at least for a while, my main effort to bring as much talk and dialogue around those topics to try and get to the bottom of it. And you may never. Sometimes that's not the point, right? But to give people options, because it's not a one size fits all. But honestly, I think that men in general need to be more fluid and more open to different ideas, different discussions, and different ways of doing things. I think the other thing is a lot of blokes are so rigid in their thinking, and that's where they fall down. And they might be rigid in their thinking that they've been taught by their social group, and that works for those guys, but it might not work for them. And we seem to follow wherever we are lucky or unlucky enough to end up. But the problem is, and this is the other thing, yes, there is an average man, and these have things apply to them, but then we're also very unique. And the point of these conversations is to find that nuance and understand that there is a nuance. And there are also patterns as well. But I think the problem is most blokes fall down because they're too rigid in their thinking. And when things do go tits up, right, and they're toying with the idea of some kind of intervention that they could do themselves, because in whatever kind of masculinity that they've been taught, that isn't the done thing, and that's where they go wrong. I think I could have saved myself a lot of pain if I'd have been more open to people around me, including other men. And I've seen the military, for example, go from this like closed sort of thing where you don't talk about certain things, and then realising the issues that are within the community, and blokes that open up. Mate, I had blokes ringing me up when I got in jail, and when I got out of jail, checking up on me. Do you know what I mean?
No way. Yeah.
And like, I've known these guys 15 plus years, right? And they wouldn't have done that before necessarily, because they're learning. And what they're doing is they're not becoming softer, they're becoming more fluid. They're becoming more open. And it doesn't mean that like that's the thing. I think being more open and being more like, I don't know what the word is.
Not vulnerable.
It's not even just vulnerable. Like, vulnerable is a part of it. It's not even just vulnerable. It's just being more just intelligent around the world in general. Because there's one thing being vulnerable, but there's also just, because the vulnerable person might need to be more the opposite.
That's true.
More,
what would you call it?
Resilient. The vulnerable. There's a vulnerable guy out there who actually needs more resilience.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's in general.
Because a lot of snowflakes out here as well. There is that element. Yeah.
In general, it's about being more open and not being afraid to try things, get that wrong and try again, and to have a more open conversation and dialogue. That, I think, is the crux of getting down to the nitty gritty of where you can help yourself and help other people. Because I could say certain things that have helped me or helped other people, but in the end, that's
very individual.
That's just one thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think what I want to do is just, like yourself, is just keep the conversation going, keep it open. And I think it does help that, for example, guys who are perceived as masculine and all these things, to talk a bit more vulnerable, and the opposite to happen as well. Because I think it meets somewhere in the middle. So that's my 2 pence. I hope to have something more poignant to say as we go, as I move through my journey. But
absolutely,
I think we got to keep it simple for now. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not here trying to talk about masculinity and all this stuff, which is the theme of my article and stuff, because I have all the answers. My goal writing that article was one thing: to get people thinking, and that was it.
Well, it certainly got me thinking, and to keep my attention with my brain is a very, very difficult thing to do. So if you can track me, I will put it in there again, plug it. Well, last thing, because I don't want to make you late for your wedding.
Not my wedding, but
sorry,
a wedding.
A wedding. That wedding might come.
The morning of his wedding.
No. Isaac's wedding's coming. Maybe not yet. Let's see. But if you said earlier about the 3 things why you wouldn't achieve what you want to achieve, and one of them was dying. If you were to die today, what is the message you want to leave to the world?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Take your time. Yeah, it's one I ponder on sometimes. You know, it's from your unique experience on this planet.
I think I know. I think I've got 2. Take more pictures. I often look back and think, I wish I'd taken more pictures. There's like a gap in part of it's technology. When I was in the Marines, it was like Blackberries and stuff. But so we didn't take as much pictures as we did now. But I wish I'd taken more. And that goes for other parts of life. But I think the other thing is as well, and this is going to be probably a bit cliche and a bit cheesy, but enjoy the journey. It's as simple as that for me. Enjoy the journey. We get so fixated, and I do it as well, get so fixated on the goal that we forget that the journey is literally the most enjoyable and important part. Because when you get to the goal, you just have another goal.
Yep.
And the goal only lasts for however long it lasts. And even if it does last a long time, let's say it's a house, for example, of a certain ilk, the novelty wears off. Where does the story come from? Does it come from the goal, or does it come from the journey? Everything I've said to you that's led me to this point today has been about my journey. Therefore, that is clearly the most interesting part. And when I think back on it, it's where I probably had the most fun. And I'm not talking about the specific things we talked about, but things in the peripheral that will happen around those times, right? And if you can enjoy the journey and accept what you have now is enough, even though you still have this goal in mind, you will be a generally more happier person. But you still need that goal for your purpose, because happiness is fleeting. Therefore, the purpose is also important. That's my other 2 pence.
It's beautifully put. I always say, and I noticed this, I was living in a world of lack for a long, long time, and nothing will fill that void. Nothing will fill that void. Are you living in a world of just enough or more than enough?
Mate, you've got air in your lungs and blood in your veins. I mean, that might sound a bit ridiculous, because I think if you're probably a homeless bloke, it'd probably...
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
It's probably a bit, what's the word? Patronising. But you get what I'm saying.
But they've got to, again...
if you've got roof over your head, you've got general health...
You won the lottery.
And I'm not saying that should be good enough for you. I'm saying by all means have a purpose and a goal.
But life's going to hit you. You're going to be in
journey, just take a minute and look about a bit and take in what you got, because you look back and go, I should have taken that in more, because that was actually a decent time. And I think that's where happiness lies, and where happiness fails, especially in the modern era, especially with the keeping up with the Joneses society we have these days with social media and
big
stuff.
Problem.
And I think the most important thing is purpose. But I think that if you can learn to just have a little sit once in a while and go, all right, cool. The people around you, the family you got, and just,
having these
it's hard to do that. It's a skill as well. So if you can't do it straight away, don't give up on it, because it's a skill. And that's the other thing people forget. A lot of these things are skills. And when they get the advice and they go, I'll try it, it didn't work. No, but you need to get better at it. You know what I'm saying?
Before you go, where can people find you if they want some advice? Your stories really resonate with them. They're in some situations that they can't speak to anyone about.
I've actually got a hotline. No, I'm joking.
0818, whatever it is.
Instagram, I think, is probably the best. Iraz, EYERAZ _ It's probably the best place to hit me up. If you give me a Google, you see my articles.
Yes.
One that's written about me, one that's written by me.
Yeah.
But I hope to have a bit more of a footprint like on social media and stuff, just to carry this conversation through.
I was going to say,
do some more writing, but I'm open. Yeah, if anyone ever wants to chat, or just give me a shout, mate. Give me a message.
I think you're someone that could you allow people to fully open up, and because of the world you've operated in, which is like that really pure masculinity, that you might be someone that could be open. Someone would feel comfortable getting in touch with you. That uncomfortable,
so.
I think.
But
so.
also, take what I say with a pinch of salt. You know,
exactly. All of us. Yeah, we're just trying to navigate this thing.
I'm just a geezer, mate. You know what I mean?
Thanks for coming on, man.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for the invite. Honestly, I appreciate it. Yeah, man. I need to knock that over now. To be.
Dang, that's me. You were thinking, Cheers, guys. See you next time.